In 2018, Belgium introduced its new Data Protection Act to implement the GDPR. The Act utilized the flexibility afforded to EU member states by derogating from the GDPR, in particular in relation to exceptions to data subject rights for scientific or historical research, as well as national and public security purposes. The Act also stipulates that the age of consent for the processing of children's data in relation to information society services is 13 years old. Furthermore, the Act sets out restrictions for processing genetic and biometric information, specifies what constitutes necessary processing in the public interest, and requirements related to the processing of criminal records. The Act is regulated by the Belgian Data Protection Authority. The DPA's guidance supports organizations in their compliance efforts and is often available in both Dutch and French, and sometimes German. The DPA recently issued its final strategic plan for the period between 2020 and 2025, following a public consultation. The plan emphasizes that the DPA intends to focus on enforcement in the telecommunication and media sectors, public authorities, direct marketing, education, and small and medium-sized enterprises, among other areas. As part of the focus on direct marketing, the DPA issued guidance which states that companies must not make the delivery of products or services dependent on consent to the processing of personal data. In addition, the DPA's guidance also includes information regarding the use of cookies and similar technologies on websites, and distinguishes between the responsibilities of website providers, website designers, and website managers. Other notable guidance from the DPA covers topics such as the principles of the Data Protection Act, Data Protection Officer appointment, and Data Protection Impact Assessment. The DPA is also particularly active in issuing opinions and enforcement decisions, which often concern, among other things, organizations' responses to data subject access requests and unlawful use of video surveillance. In December 2019, the DPA issued a fine of €15,000 for an organization's failure to implement a process to obtain consent before using cookies and thereby violating the GDPR. There are also several ongoing developments in Belgian legislation that will affect personal data protection. The DPA has issued opinions on many of these proposed changes, including in relation to proposed laws on health and life insurance, clinical trials, connected medical devices, anti-money laundering, fiscal codes, and employment. A further recent development was the introduction of a royal decree, which implements the NIS Directive and the law on critical infrastructure into Belgian law. Importantly, this NIS decree creates an updated cybersecurity framework for operators of essential services and digital service providers. To continue researching key compliance requirements in Belgium, use jurisdiction dashboards to quickly access the latest regulatory developments and best practice from leading experts.